What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Episode 31 of the Texans franchise. And guys, we are in off-season number 3, and we're coming off of our first playoff appearance, our first playoff win, and of course, our first playoff loss. The season ended on a sour note, but we now have a superstar quarterback in Dillon Gilbert. Dillon Gilbert had a rough outing. But it was more so the defense, I think, than anything that had a very, very bad week. There was a lot of bad gameplay issues that affected Dillon Gilbert, and a lot of them I can't blame on Dillon Gilbert. So I'm working on fixing it. I should have a great set for us to start the next season with for the sliders, which of course I will share with you guys. But on top of that, Leo Walsh is now a superstar. We have Alex Poe at X Factor. We even have Jordan Walker, who's now unlocked as a superstar. And while the defense did lose a few of their abilities or superstar or X Factors, this is what I want. I want to have the ups and downs. Greedy Williams had it last week, and for some reason he lost it this week. I'm not going to be changing that, okay? I don't agree with it, how they do that back and forth thing, but this is what we're given, right? And we're going to stick with it. Another downfall is Jalen Petrie lost his superstar dev. He's now down to star. Greenlaw's down to star. But we do have some good things to look forward to, and I cannot wait to get this offseason started. So let me shut up. Let's get over and let's check out these free agents to see if there's anybody that we want to add to this team. And one thing to note is I did have to create a profile for the Jaguars to make sure that they were winning this offer. I will make sure Trevor Lawrence goes back to the Jaguars. The game of still doing the weird things, but now that I'm offline, I can go and fix these things. I didn't think about this ahead of time, but we'll make sure Lawrence is back with the Jaguars because that is a story we just have to keep continuing, and he really wouldn't leave the team. So he will be back with the Jaguars one way or another once we kick off the next season. I was also taking a look at the team and trying to find guys that maybe are just not fitting with this team anymore. And one guy that popped up to me was John Mechie. Now, John Mechie, of course, in real life, going through some stuff, and hopefully he'll be back and be a great player. Here in our world, he's just never really been able to get much spotlight. And now with Walker being superstar, we decided to bring back Nico Collins, Alex Poe's a beast, and Darius Slayton. It just seems as if, one, Mechie is never really going to get a shot. 2, he's taking up a valuable roster spot. And 3, he's never going to get a chance anywhere. So what I'm thinking of doing is I think I'm going to trade John Mechie away this offseason, and hopefully we can get something in return for a draft pick, and then free up some of our wide receiver room for a guy like Jason Dahl. There's a couple of other guys that were here from the practice squad that I don't know if they're going to end up lasting or not. We'll see. Even without Mechie on the roster, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys without bringing anybody else in through free agency or the draft. So we have a good wide receiver core right now, and Mechie just seems to be the odd man out, especially since we decided to bring back Nico Collins, which I wanted to do. You guys wanted me to do. We got it done. But now it's time to face the music because we can't keep everybody. This is also a really big year for Jalen Petrie. If we end up finding somebody at safety, I would not be against moving on from Jalen Petrie, which sucks to say, but he had the superstar for the season. He didn't play up to it. He lost it. He's now 26. He's an 82 overall. He's on the last year of his deal. Is this somebody that we want to sign and try and build with, or do we need to get somebody new in here? I just don't know if this is somebody we can build with. I think we might fare better by bringing somebody in through free agency and maybe bringing somebody in through the draft and then going from there. These are the kind of decisions that have to be made sometimes. Yes, he's an 82. Yes, he's 26. But what has he added to the team? Is he being a game changer, right? And that's sort of what I have to decide every time I'm re-signing these players. Do I like these players? Yes, of course I do. But are they being a difference maker? Are they elevating this team? Is there an opportunity to improve? And to me, I just don't see Petrie being worth another contract right now. By the time he signs a new contract, he's going to be 27. Him, Mechie, I think we're going to end up moving on from him this year. We'll see what happens. And now looking at the free agents, I found Nate Hobbs here sitting in the free agency at corner. He's 26 years old and 82 overall, 88 zone coverage, and we're the only team offering him a contract. A perfect replacement for Desmond King. I think we have to definitely pull the trigger on this signing and see if we can land him. Hobbs replaces what we lost with Desmond King. It allows us to still draft a corner, but now we don't need that corner to be a top tier corner. We just need to find somebody that works for us and we can build. So I was looking at the defensive ends here, and one guy that stuck out to me was Charles Omenihu. He's 6'5", 280 pounds. Definitely too big to play defensive end for us. But looking at his player card, he's really not the fastest at defensive end, which would mean that he's a good guy to move inside, and he's got 87 power move. His block shedding is not the best, but that is for the run blocking portion of it. And if we truly want somebody for pass rushing situations, he might be one of the best options we can find. So we're going to offer Charles Omenihu here an offer and have him move inside if we do end up landing him. All right, guys, so this is the 3 offers that I want to make here in this first period. I want to bring in Nate Hobbs, Charles Omenihu. I offered him a 2-year deal worth $18 million to match the Bengals. And then last but not least, Bobby McCain at free safety. We do not have a backup free safety right now. It is just Jalen Petrie. And this is really all we need to do in free agency. Not every year is going to be a home run hit in free agency because sometimes you just don't need to do it. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can land these guys. So we end up getting both Charles Omenihu and Bobby McCain. But now Nate Hobbs has a lot of people interested in him, and we are not even on the top 5 list. So we're going to have to up our offer if we want to land Nate Hobbs. All right, so I was able to get the best offer on him, but it did take quite a bit of money. 3 years, $26 million, almost $9 million a year for Nate Hobbs' services. Luckily, though, he's 26, right? And he's exactly what we need. There we have it. Nate Hobbs is officially a Texan. Now I think our offseason is pretty much set. I'm going to go ahead and add a few more just filler players here for this last eval period, just to fill out the roster, and then we'll go ahead and we'll jump right into draft prep. I went ahead and signed David Moore here. He is a younger player, 23 years old, 6'2", 186, 67 overall. Just a guy to try and grow a little bit. Maybe he makes a practice squad. Maybe he makes active roster. It depends on what we get out of the draft and what we see out of the guys that we have. But I wanted to bring on an extra body just in case. I also signed a new kicker, Riley Patterson. I just feel like Will Lutz is 31. I decided to just release him outright, and we're going to roll with a new kicker and a new punter this year because why not? And then I also signed Ryan Wright. He just has a big leg, 98 kick power. And with us getting to this stage of free agency, now we have unlocked mock draft 4, and we have a lot of picks this year. I did some trading down last year, and with the trades that we did with some of our players, we actually have 2 late first round picks, and we have a couple of second round picks, and then a few extra mid round picks. So we have quite a few draft picks that we can work with here. And I'm going to show you guys where we're sitting right now. We don't pick until 26 because obviously we made the playoffs, and then we also have, I can't remember whose first round pick it is, but we do have a first round pick here towards the end. If we really want to go ahead and target one of these top corners, we might be able to do just that in the earlier part of the first round. But it looks like it's going to be a quarterback first. Goodson, the only really top 5 or first round prospect at quarterback, going first. And then it looks to be a lot of edge rushers once again. 4, 5 in a row, a wide receiver, a run on wide receivers. So not any positions that we are looking for are going to go ahead of us, which is a good thing. It looks like 15 is the sweet spot for when some of the players that we are targeting are going to be going. Jenkins is one that I'm really interested in. Silas Stevenson is another one. And most of these guys here are, I don't even foresee us going after them. I do have a list put together. So I have 90 people on this list, a whole bunch of people going from the first round all the way to the undrafted guys. And really what I do in these situations, I just go through every single prospect. And if they have something, especially towards the end, like the UDFAs that stands out to me, I make sure to add them to my list. This is the favorites broken down by position. There's no quarterbacks listed. At halfback, I have quite a few of them down because I just feel like at this point, I have done wrong by trying to make Pierce or Sweet an elusive back. These guys in Madden are power backs. And we need an elusive back. So what this season is going to be bringing is we're probably going to be bringing in a running back, an elusive back to build up. And I'm going to have to make a decision on Pierce or Sweet. One of those two is going to have to go. I'm not sure which one yet, but we can really only carry two guys for this. I want to try to run a dual back system, an elusive back and a power back. So one of them is going to have to go. So I have Seontae Patton here, Calvin Pearman, Joseph Lowry, Mario Fleming, Jeff Barber, Angel Hickson, Mike Callaway, Craig Jefferson, Max Bush, Jonathan Tulloch, Lamont Charles, Tremaine Bernard, Dre McKnight, Robert Bowman, and Kai McMichael. Most of these guys in the undrafted area in day 3 are because I found a B or an A rating on them. And when they have those high of a rating that low down the board, I just feel like there might be something there, even if it's not a day 1 guy, something to look at for depth. So I wanted to make sure I added them to this list. I have a fullback added because I have yet to see a fullback be projected to be drafted, and DeAndre Hopkins is. He's 5'11", 245, 21 years old, and he's got elite in everything. Everything is, so I'm almost wondering if this is more of a type of, not like a power back, but at least a fullback that we can rely on in the run game and the pass game, and he has got A's everywhere. His run blocking is good, and look at his running back attributes: A to C ball carrier vision, A to C break tackle. He has so many things that just jump off the page to me that I have to add him here, and I might end up taking a flyer on this fullback later on in the draft, because while I like the dude we have, Colin Harris, Hopkins may be like a complete difference maker at the fullback position. I know that sounds crazy, but I still like fullbacks. As for wide receivers, it's really way far down the list as guys that I could see just filling in, whether that be on the practice squad or as a 5th or 6th option. Bradley and Verdon, these last two, I just get the vibe that they might be running backs, like how some guys can be good out of position. Because if you look here at Bradley, he's 217 pounds. It's a very strange build for a wide receiver, and he's only 5'11". Now his ratings aren't the best, but when you look here, it looks like he's got A to C break tackle, A to C juke. His carrying could be C. We don't know yet, but that's why I have him here. His actual wide receiver ratings sort of seem to be pretty bad, but if he's more of a running back, just playing as a wide receiver, if we switch him to running back, he might end up being a great receiving back for us. And that's precisely why I have Jonathan Verdon here. Verdon is 5'11", 204. He's 21, but he's got some great acceleration, right? He doesn't have the best 40, but he's got great acceleration and a 20-yard shuttle that is 1st and 2nd or 1st and 3rd, whichever one you want to look at. So he can move very quickly, and his carrying is a B. That's what's really, sinking to me. He has a B carrying rating. He has a A to C ball carrier vision, A to C break tackle, A to C juke. He's got all of these really good ranges while his route running is really bad. So this is another guy that I might want to take a flyer on later to see if he is one of those guys that can move positions and be effective at running back. I have a few tight ends here. Probably not going to take a tight end at all. I just put a few guys down because they had some really good ratings later on in the draft, like these Bs and As. I really like seeing this stuff on these late round prospects. I have a lot of tackles listed here. This is something I'm okay with taking early if need be. Our one young left tackle, but I would really like to have two, because as soon as that contract is good enough to get rid of, I'm probably going to get rid of Jenkins or Davis, because they just have not really worked out, and I'm sort of biting the bullet on those guys right now because they just have not panned out for the amount of money that they're taking. There really isn't many options here at the guard position, but a few of these guys have A's in them later on in the draft, which definitely made me keep an eye on them. So I want to have them here available. Same with the right guards, nobody of real substance, but again, looking at some of these ratings, a day 3 guard with potentially 3 A's in the top 4 attributes, that's a big bonus for me for potentially taking him in the 5th or 6th. And then the same for right tackles. I'm viewing right tackles the same as I am left tackles. Jay Kramer seems to be the only halfway decent one, but there are a few more guys with decent key ratings that could be potential fillers and practice squad guys. For defensive ends, I have a few of them here that could potentially move to defensive tackle in the right situation, or they're that sort of in-between guy that I mentioned. And same over here for a guy like Matthias Turner, DeAndre Chambers, or Dwayne Joseph, who's 6'6", 318. So I'm going to keep an eye on these guys, particularly for that reason, but I don't intend on taking any of them early. So I don't foresee us taking any of these three guys unless the situation is really the only option. And honestly, I just could not find a D tackle. I just could not find D tackles that really tripped my trigger in this one. I have a few guys here for later on in the draft. And then outside linebackers, I have a few on here for both defensive end positions and also just our linebacker like Jimmy Gregory. And there's really not that many guys that jump off the page at you either. These are really the only guys that had a decent zone rating. That's what I based it off this year. If they had at least a C, I put them on the list. And then corner. This is one of the more serious areas. This is the people that I'm really trying to land because we really need like a shutdown corner. I think Stingley is going to end up turning into that for us, but I want to have an incredible secondary. And I just don't know if Greedy Williams can give us that. So I'm heavy on taking a corner early this year. A guy like Jenkins could be awesome, but as we saw from the mock draft, he's probably going in the 15 range. Silas Stevenson is getting picked a couple of picks before us. So I have a few other options here in Pat Sharpton and Jermichael Landry that sort of jumped to me. And if you look at their key ratings, their ratings are actually pretty on point with even the top guys. There's all Bs for Jenkins, mostly Bs for Stevenson, but then Sharpton and Landry both also have mostly Bs, which means to tell me that there might not be a huge dump off like I originally thought. There might be more of a consistent factor here that some guys are just getting more hyped than others. So all in all, we have 90 players on this board. And if we can land all of our picks from guys off of this board, I think we'll have a good draft. All right, guys. So I ended up finding an awesome trade partner for John Mechie, and that is the Los Angeles Chargers. I traded and got a 4th round pick in return, and he's a perfect fit for them. They lost Keenan Allen to injury, right? He's also 33. Mike Williams is 30. And then below him, they have Jonathan Aldridge and Roosevelt Northcutt, both sub 70 players. So he, at the very least, is a number 3 and definitely somebody that they will be able to use much more than what we could. So I'm happy to see him get a spot, and it also frees up some space for us on our team. So overall, I'm happy with the trade. And again, we got a 4th round pick out of the situation. And now after that happened, this is what we are working with for draft picks. We have the 2 first round picks. We also have a few different 2nd round picks. Can't remember if I traded last year for this or not. I honestly can't remember because all the stupid stuff that has happened in the last month or so, but we got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 3 fourths, and then just our 5, 6, and 7. So we do have plenty of picks. And what I would like to do with this is maybe move around the board a little bit if need be. We could try and pair up some of these picks to get up into the earlier 20s or maybe even the late teens in the first round to land one of the guys that we're really interested in at corner, or maybe, who knows, maybe we even decide to trade back and just take some more value picks. But we have a lot of draft picks to work with, and I'm happy with where we're at right now. And now that we have done the main part of free agency, let's check out where some of these top free agents have landed and see if what kind of news we got. So the Jaguars did end up landing Lawrence, which I'm super happy to see. Now I can go ahead and remove my profile off of them. Jared Goff is going to the Giants, Geno Smith to the Falcons, Davis Mills going to the Raiders, and that's really all we care about. Halfback Ramondre Stevenson to the Broncos. Nothing really of substance here. Elijah Mitchell to the Eagles. Yeah, not much for running backs. Wow, Brandon Cooks ended up making it to free agency anyway, so they did not come to an agreement with him. So we ended up getting a 2nd round pick for Brandon Cooks, and the team didn't even re-sign him. Yikes. And now he's a San Francisco 49er. Rashad Bateman re-signed with the Ravens. That's nice to see. Zay Jones is going to Chicago. Joshua Palmer going to Atlanta. Wes Watkins to the Panthers, and KJ Hamler also going to the Panthers. So nice job there. The only tight end was Will Dissly, signed by the Dolphins. Cam Robinson does go back to the Jaguars. That was another guy that I was hoping they would be able to get back because they definitely needed him. So that is good to see. No other really big stories here on the offensive line. Quinn Miniers. I can't say this goddamn guy. I can't say this guy's name. Quinn Miniers. I don't know. So this guy, he went to the 49ers. And then Terrence Steele going to the Chiefs. Interesting. Sam Cosmi to the Packers, and then Spencer Brown to the Falcons. Defensively, Sam Hubbard going to the Eagles. Jadeveon Clowney to the Bucks. Deo Odenigbo going to the Broncos. Boogie Basham to the Chargers, or to the Rams, I mean. Sorry, wrong LA team. Taquan Graham to the Cardinals. BJ Hill ended up going to the Bears. Michael Pierce to the Steelers. Milton Williams to the Titans. So a lot of D tackles also going off. Not much here for DNs. Azeez Ojulari goes to the Broncos. That's a good pickup for them. Oh, Olaquin ends up going to the Rams, leaving the Jaguars without a middle linebacker. That's going to be interesting. I tried to get him back for the Jaguars too, and it looks like he did not want to stay. Oh, but they did end up getting Chris Barnes. Okay, that's good. So they did replace him to some degree. Baron Browning going to the Cardinals. That's another younger player that ended up going elsewhere. And then Charvarius Ward to the Steelers. Kenny Moore to the Buccaneers. Byron Jones back to the Dolphins. Shaquille Griffin to the Giants. James Bradbury to the Steelers. Isaiah Rodgers to the Raiders. Avonte Maddox also to the Buccaneers. Mike Hilton to the Cardinals. Jonathan Jones to the Packers. Desmond King lands in Denver. David Long goes to the Packers. That was another guy that was on the team for a little bit. CJ Henderson to the Commanders. And Farley to the Rams. And then we're getting into the lower overall guys here. Jesse Bates also going to the Buccaneers. Wow. So the Bucs putting together quite a good defense based off what we have seen so far. Eddie Jackson goes to the 49ers. That is interesting. A couple of safeties going. And then, oh, the 49ers let him go, and he's going to the Jaguars. Is it Hufanga? Wow. That is weird. Don't know why they let him go, but I'm not going to stop it. All right, so we have made it to the final week before the draft, and it is time to choose the 3 players for the private workouts. And this is where it's going to get interesting because there are some players that I would like to know more about, but I'm really not 100% certain on which direction I want to go. So what I will do is I think I'm going to unlock Joseph Lowry here. I already spent 1 on him, and I just have a feeling he might end up being like, I mean, he's 6'1", 226, but listed as an elusive back. I have to see what he's about. I know it's sort of a waste because he's already at 95%, but I want to know where his talent is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend it on him. I'm sort of on board with maybe trying to go after somebody like Jermichael Landry, because like I said, if these guys are very similar, because look, he's all B's. The only difference here for Landry is that we don't know if his man coverage is B or if it's lower, but everything else seems to be pretty on point. Or that, or Pat Sharpton too. So maybe we could spend the last 2 even on these guys to see, you know, do we need to take one of these top guys, or can we wait and take one of these guys down here? And I want to see LaMichael Landry here. I know he fell down the board, but looking at him, he's 21, he's 6'1", and he's got great speed, and he's got elite acceleration and agility. I really like that about him. And looking, he's got B zone, B tackle, B catching, C play rec and awareness. I want to see what he's got fully unlocked before I make a decision. So we're going to go Jermichael Landry. Let's do Calvin Pearman. Well, yeah, we'll do 2 running backs and the corner. There, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do Lowry, Landry, Pearman. Going to find out as much as I can about these guys. All right, so I simmed ahead, and now we get to see what we find out about these guys. So let's first go to the running backs. Wow. So Calvin Pearman is a top 5 talent at running back, and Lowry is round 1 to 2 talent. Okay, let's see the corner here. Jermichael Landry is round 1 talent. So I knew quite a bit about Jenkins, Sharpton. I'm like, let's see what Landry's all about. And we could end up landing this guy in the 2nd or 3rd round, and he is a round 1 talent. And I had a sneaky suspicion about this because all of their key ratings are very similar. There's no guys with all A's here. They're all pretty much the same across the board. So chances are all 4 of these guys right here are going to be some pretty good prospects. And even maybe a guy like Claiborne, well, Bowman, he drops down to a D. Okay, so it looks as if basically these 5 guys here, if you can land one of these 5 guys, you should have a decent corner. Claiborne obviously being the lesser of the 4, or of the 5, but these 4 right here, I'm guessing are going to be pretty close to the same. We know he's going to be in the same area because the only thing above round 1 is top 5 talent, right? But I just feel like if he was top 5 talent, there would be something much better to see from his key ratings here. For them to be the same as Landry minus the press. So Landry is definitely a target of ours, but now I feel more comfortable taking somebody else in the first round. All right, guys, it is draft time. We are here. The Falcons are on the clock, and we don't pick till 126. So I think we're just going to go ahead and go right past these picks here and see who ends up getting taken. I don't foresee us moving up, but we'll start gauging things a little bit around like 10 to 16 area. So, yep, the quarterback goes first, Goodson. And then it's Jeremy Woodyard, the receiver. Jamie Dillon, yeah, it's going right in order right now. Hugh Sharpton, Nick Stevens. So a lot of these edge rushers that we're really not interested in. The first tackle goes Hugh Carrington. Damian Middlebrook, another defensive end. Ben Snell, second receiver gone. Juan Harold, another outside linebacker. Roderick Hammond, the third wide receiver gone. Chandler Thompson, one of the guards. Jawan Samuel. And this is where... Okay, so now we're at pick 15, and this is where Jenkins was supposed to go. I am comfortable with us taking Landry, so I don't foresee us needing to move up. And as long as I feel like I am comfortable with sitting at 1, and now that we know Calvin Pearman is a top 5 running back, I almost feel comfortable taking him there at 1 in the first round at 26. Hey, you guys may be like, oh, why'd you draft the running back? We have Pearson, we have Sweet. Guys, one of these guys got to go, right? We need an elusive back. We now know Pearman is a top 5 talent. I think it would be stupid of me not to take him, knowing he's a top 5 talent at 26. And yep, there goes Jenkins to the Vikings. And wow, Stevenson goes the very next pick to the Saints. That is one of the first deviations, I think, because they had him going like 21-22. Isaiah Gibson to the Ravens. Evan Poe to the Chiefs. Cedric Yarbrough to the Raiders. Antoine Andrews to the Packers. Chauncey Wilson to the Dolphins. Brandon Myers, there's the defensive end that I was looking at, or I had on my board at least. He's going to the Jaguars. Be interesting to see how he plays out. We have our pick coming up here soon. Another guard. Another linebacker. And there goes Kasim Jefferson, another left tackle. So we have a couple of options here. We have an early second round pick as well. And we have a lot of linemen sitting here. So I'm almost wondering if it might be a better option for us to take one of the linemen that are sitting here. Kramer, Butler, and Samuel all still sitting here. Samuel is the one that is a scheme fit for us, and let's see what he brings to the table. He's 22 years old, 6'4", 307. Oh, he is first in like everything. He's elite in everything. Oh man, that's a tough one right there. His pass block power is really bad. It's a D. But if we don't need him to start right away, if he's elite in everything, that must mean he's going to be one of the most agile guys. He's probably going to be one of the best linemen. When you find them linemen that are top 3 in every category, chances are they're really good. The only thing he's not top in is bench press, but if he's an agile fit, of course he's not going to be the strongest, but he still put up over 30 reps, which is that sort of benchmark that you're looking for when you're making a offensive lineman choice in the draft. Kasim Branch for one side, and then we would have Samuel for the other side, and we could just build these guys up to take over for the 2 veterans we have at the positions right now, which is a big part of your success. So you know what? Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to take Gary Samuel here. All right, there we go. Hidden Dev. He's 77 speed, 88 strength, 86 acceleration at the tackle position. Wow, that's very fast. That is very fast for a tackle. Holy hell. I like it. And I really do think it's time for us to take Calvin Pearman. I've seen a couple of these running backs sneak into the last half of the first round of the last couple of drafts. I don't like Patton. He's sub 200 pounds. I'm not a fan of it. I know it's by a pound. I get it. But Pierman is he's 5'9", 213. That's a good size for a running back. And we know he's top 5 talent. I don't want that to be missed because I try to be slick and take him at 34 instead of 30. So we're going to stay here. We're going to take Calvin Pierman at number 30 for our second first-round pick. All right, another hidden dev. 95 acceleration, 94 speed for Calvin Pierman. Only 86 change of direction, which isn't the best, but that is some awesome speed for our running back coming out of the draft. That is a game changer. We do not have that right now. That is game-changing speed at the running back position. I know I did a lot of trading around last year, but I sort of forgot that we even had this high of picks. This also could have just been messed up because I had to rechange up the whole file. So the trades I did might have been to the teams. Like, I recreated the trades that I did, but if the teams were built different or played different from the first file, I mean, I didn't fix every 32 teams. It was just the Texans. So without even realizing, I might have given myself some really good draft picks without trying to, because I traded to the teams that I did in the original file. So I don't know. I mean, it's just what it's going to have to be. I can't change it now. But we have round 2, pick 1. We have round 2, pick 5. Wow. Those are some good picks. But anyway, who cares? We're going to take it as a win. With our first pick in the second round, I think I'm actually going to trade it away. Reason for that is I could trade this thing to Cleveland and I could get a first rounder and a third rounder next year and pick up a 7th this year, which I think is a great option, because what are the chances that the Browns are going to end up actually with the 32nd pick next year, right? What are the chances of that? And we have another pick here coming up in a few picks, so I'm okay with this. So we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger on this trade right now. And now, because we don't pick until the end of the third at this point, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take Jermichael Landry. I know what he is. He's round 1 talent. We're going to get him here at the top of the second. I got to take him at this point. Oh, man. So he's normal dev, but he has some good speed and excel. 94 excel, 93 speed, 92 agility, 89 change of direction. Only normal dev, so hey, you know, that sucks, but he looks to have some pretty good intangibles, so we'll see what he is after the draft. And now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to sim all the way till our next choice, because we really don't have much else that we need at this point. All right, here we are, end of the third round. We have 2 picks before the end of the third, the 26th and the 30th. And now let's take a look at this favorites list that I have here. So at the top is Matthias Turner, who is a 6'6", 287-pound defensive end. Tavarius Claiborne, another corner, which I don't think we're going to take another corner, especially at this point in the draft. Aaron Burgess, Jamario Bennett, Clifton Nash. DeAndre Chambers is available. He's somebody that I really liked, DeAndre Chambers. Because look at his ratings. He's got B for block shed, power move, and tackle. He's a day 3 guy, though, so we might be picking a little bit ahead of the curve on him. But I do like him better than Matthias Turner. And I think that he could be a good option for us to be that in between type of player. Plus he's 21. That's a big selling point to me. He's 21. Okay, he's got a pretty good 40 time too. Yeah, B awareness, B block shedding, C finesse, which that is what it is, but he's got B power moves, C play rec, A injury, B tackle. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take DeAndre Chambers here. He would be a great guy to fill in at D end in our rotation. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take Chambers here. All right, so normal dev, but 85 excel, 83 speed, 84 strength. I like it. All right, I went ahead and I traded our I traded the second third round pick to an earlier third or an earlier fourth, and I picked up a 5th rounder or a 6th rounder next year. It's just a simple trade, but I'm okay with it. Let's go ahead and let's get to that pick. I don't seem to have too many guys that are really jumping off the page to me at this point in the draft. I did have Adam Tanley here as a day 3 because he had a lot of A's. I'm going to see what he looks like here. And here's another one, another lineman that is really good in the combine. Pass block finesse A, impact A, awareness A to C, Pass block A to C. His run blocking needs some serious work, but that's actually like the easiest one to upgrade. I'm wondering if we don't take another flyer here for a guard. I sort of like this move. I'm going to go ahead and take Adam Tanley here. All right, so he's normal dev, 75 excel, 85 strength, 66 speed. Not the best, but I'm still okay with the move. But I want to take this fullback. I want to take DeAndre Hopkins, guys. I mean, just look at this guy. Elite down the board. I mean, this guy could end up being a power back for us in the future. I don't know, man. I've never seen fullbacks actually listed as draftable. Usually, even if they're decent, they are listed as undrafted. So to see him listed as a day 3 projection makes me feel like he's like, I wouldn't say a generational player, but one of these gems that you can find in these drafts, because why else would he be here at as a day 3 projection? I just don't see fullbacks doing this. So screw it. I'm going to take him. We've hit our marks already. I'm going to take him. He's hidden dev. Yeah, hidden dev fullback. 88 excel, 86 speed, 84 strength at fullback. That is insane, guys. I can't believe I just took a fullback in the 4th round. Brian Stewart, first in receivers, not the best in 3-cone or 20-yard, but everything else is lined up. I think I take Brian Stewart here. Yeah. I know, guys, we're taking another receiver, but hey, it's the end of the draft. This is what you do. And that's why you get a 97 speed receiver. That is what I'm looking for. All right, guys, so we finished up the draft, and the last couple of picks, I had no idea what I was doing, so I like just simmed it. So we'll see what we got. But yeah, so the major part of this draft was really getting the first 4 or 5 picks right, getting all the positions I wanted. We ended up getting them all. It was a good draft. We took a couple of guys possibly a little too early. Obviously, I don't know yet. I haven't looked at the draft recap, but I just really wanted to make sure that we hit our mark with these guys, right? So the corner, taking the lineman early on just because it was there. So I'm not 100% sure what we're going to expect here. Let's go ahead and let's check out what we ended up finishing off with. Okay, so we hit it out of the park, it looks like, on some things. This is looking good. Gary Samuel, our first pick, was a 74 overall. We know he's hidden dev, definitely changing that outfit. I don't know who signed off on this in EA or Madden. Who's like, all right, guys, for these generic players, let's just put arm braces on all of them with no gloves. How many times have we ever seen a lineman wear this kind of an outfit? Ever? I don't know, just a random thought. But anyway, Gary Samuel, he is a 74 overall agile. It's very apparent that he needs a ton of work. Let's see how bad. Okay, really not too bad. Low to mid 70s for almost everything except pass block power. We can work on that because we don't expect him to start right away. I love his speed and acceleration. His awareness is actually really good too. His impact block is high, lead block is high. Is it a home run hit? Not necessarily. But this is somebody I can definitely see, like, between him and Branch now. We have 2 guys for the future that are going to be bookends at left tackle and right tackle. Not sure which one is going to be which yet, but our next pick, Calvin Pearman. This is a home run. He's a 77. For some reason, he has bad morale right now. No clue why, but whatever. That's a big pick. 77 overall, definitely a top 5 worthy pick. Now seeing his ratings, we knew about the speed in Excel, the agility, his carrying is an 80. Ball carrier vision is above an 80 when he's not having bad morale. Change of direction we know was an 86. He got 74 strength, which I think is pretty good for an elusive back. 77 break tackle, 79 spin, 84 juke. Good injury and stamina. And he also has the ability for kick returning. Awesome. And here is Jermichael Landry. This was the corner, and I would say another awesome pick. 76 overall. He is normal dev though, so of course that sort of sucks, but you know, let's see what it is now. So we knew he was fast, and his coverages are actually really balanced. I like that. Play rec is pretty decent at 74. Press is a little low, but we'll get him there. DeAndre Chambers was the defensive end that I took, and he ends up being a 69 overall. Okay, so his power and finesse are relatively close together, but he is more of a power moves guy. Block shedding is decent. Strength is really good. His play rec is absolutely horrendous. Here was the guard that we took a flyer on, Adam Tanley, and he ends up being a 72 pass protector. His agile and power is very bad. Oh boy, yeah, he's gonna need some work, but he can pass pro for sure. Everything else is rather bad. And here is DeAndre Hopkins. This is the fullback, the 5'11", 245-pound fullback. And let's see his ratings. Okay, so not the greatest run blocking, but maybe this is sort of average for a fullback. I'm not sure. But look at his abilities in the running game. We knew he was fast, 86, 88, strength 84, trucking 84, stiff arm is 86, carrying is 78 without the boost, 83 break tackle. Wow. That is pretty impressive for a fullback. Here's Brian Stewart, the wide receiver we took a flyer on. He ends up being a 70 overall deep threat and 97 speed. That was the main attraction to him. He had the first 40-yard dash. His release is very bad, and his route running definitely needs some work. But right out of the gate, he is a guy that can stretch the field, and we can work on getting everything else up. Plus, another guy that has kick return ability. I like to see that. So overall, not a bad choice. And then the three that I ended up simming were all absolute misses. Jimmy Gregory, Bobby Hillman, and Malik Johnson. 62 overall, 61. Now let's check out the full draft to see what we potentially missed out on and what some of the other players that were on the board were looking like. So starting out the gates, Deontay Goodson, really good, 76 overall. Jeremy Woodyard, the second overall pick, he was a 78. Cortavius Jenkins, here was the top corner. He's normal, and he's a 76. So that's now our corner and the top corner was normal, but both end up being a 77 overall. Both have relatively even keel man and zone coverage. Not bad at all. 92 speed, 95 excel. So really, we sort of got the same exact corner without having to trade up. Silas Stevenson, he went right behind him. He is also normal. 5'10", same thing, fast, relatively close, but better zone than man. Oh, Patton was a 78. This was the other running back. He was a 78 overall. Wow, look at that change of direction. Holy smokes. Not as good juke, but better spin. Wow, everything seems to be sort of on point with these guys. The other guy we were looking at, and Sharpton, was hidden as well, 75 overall. Okay, so Landry, you can very easily see, was obviously the better athlete. Pretty similar in the man zone range and the play rec. Overall, not bad. And here is Joseph Lowry, the running back that I was going to take from instead of what's his name? Golly, I already forgot his name. Pierman. 6'1", 226. He was hidden dev as well. He is an elusive back by 1 overall, and holy smokes, that is a lot of green. Oh man, the change in direction is rather limited though. Not a fan of that. He even has decent speed and excel too. That is something. I hope I don't end up biting. I hope I don't end up regretting that pick, but I just felt like Pierman was the better guy. I mean, he is obviously overall wise, but looking at some of this stuff, I mean, he's just a do-it-all kind of running back. Whether or not Madden is going to let him do it all is the question. Jonathan Verta, 75 overall? What in the world? Look at his carrying. This man is a beast. I got to see what this guy is. I got to see if he's an actual running back or not. Okay, so he was a 75 overall at wide receiver. He looks like a running back. He's an 83 receiving back, 74 elusive back. Damn, I wish I would have been able to snag him, but I wouldn't have taken him until probably the 7th round. I was just, taking a flyer on an undrafted guy. So yeah, that is the draft. We're going to work on, of course, getting all the players with better gear and better numbers, make sure everything looks as good as possible for the next video when we start doing the preseason. And then I'll go through the other teams and make sure things are all good with them as well. One thing that I did want to make sure I mentioned is I definitely am going to be adding a lot more stories to this franchise. Last year for the Vikings franchise, I did a story generator, and this year, I think I'm going to do it to its full extent, because there is a lot of other things on there that I didn't even touch because I didn't feel like putting the time in, but I really want to, because I think it'll make this series really cool. It's going to be obviously people getting better and getting worse based off of off-season stuff. It's also going to be players getting suspended. It's going to be players having career-ending injuries, contract negotiations failing, players unhappy with their position on the team. Everything that you can think of that you find in the real NFL, I'm going to try to incorporate in this franchise, and it's going to be randomly generated. I'm going to start posting that at the bottom of the videos so that you guys can also use it if you want. I posted at a previous video, but I can't remember which one it was. But I will post that down below in the description, so that way if you guys want to try your hand at using it, you can do that as well. Just make sure that if you open it up, just make your own copy, and then it's best to use it in Excel. I tried using it in Google Sheets and it just doesn't seem to work the same. So you just throw it into Excel, you hit F9, and it randomly generates things for you. Also, if you were interested in the playbook that I was using for the Texans for the last season, it is in the community files for PlayStation 5 only. It is named Pack 2 Edit, and it's underneath my gamer tag CB Gaming 7. So if you're interested in that as well, go ahead and download that. Let me know what you think. And yeah, but for this video, that's all I got for you guys. Another off season down, another season on the horizon. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a sub if you have not already, and then turn that bell notification on so you know when I upload. And I'll see you guys next time.